100.7 WBZ, y'all. We're going to start this drop real quick, and then we're going to jump right into the program, y'all.
Hey, Tuskegee, make sure you watch the Macon County Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Andre Brunson every day at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Tuskegee Virtual TV, Channel 181 in town, and Channel 19 on the TU campus, hosted by DJ Booty Rush. Be sure to check out our live stream every Thursday evening on YouTube at Tuskegee Virtual. We're keeping Tuskegee in the know.
And you know this, and you know
Y'all stand up and give a big warm welcome, y'all. We got the sheriff in the building, y'all. Let's go.
Hey, Macon County. Ready for another week, Macon County.
Wow.
Yeah, how everybody doing today?
Excellent.
Everybody doing that. Booty Rush, you doing okay today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pat Wallace, you doing okay
Oh, yeah.
today?
I'm good.
Right.
I'm
well,
real good.
I know Macon County doing all right.
Oh, yeah.
All day.
Doing okay today. Okay, first of all, 100.7 FM, WBZ with DJ Booty Rush at Hear Me TV, Tuskegee Virtual TV, Channel 181 in town, Channel 19 on campus with Pat Wallace, director, Kimberly Wright, Butch Baxter, and Jordan. Yeah, we got Jordan in the building. Jordan gonna be famous. He gonna have a famous name, Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan.
Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good. Well, we're going to get on with the sheriff report. We got Brinsky in the building. We got, look back there. We got somebody over here, Miss Renfro, we ain't seen in a long time. She back there trying to hide.
Yeah.
Back there trying to hide. You know we got Brinsky in the building.
All day.
We got Miss Sheriff in the building. Hey, you know Miss Sheriff's birthday on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
BB.
I tell y'all earlier,
right.
her birthday on Tuesday.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
It's her birthday. It's her birthday on Tuesday.
All right.
And, before I do the sheriff report, I want to say my buddy Deputy Cloud, Wendell Cloud, broke his leg the other day, man. That's bad. So y'all pray for him.
Okay.
Broke his leg in 2 places.
Wow.
Man, really good deputy, good dude. We missed him over there working. If you don't see him riding around, that's why.
Right. Okay.
So everybody get some prayers out, some shout outs. Deputy Cloud, good guy. A horse fell on him, man.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, horse fell on him. Out there, he a country boy, like his
Does
horse.
he drive the pickup? He drives the pickup truck, right?
Yeah.
He had to drive the pickup truck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just saw him.
Horse
Yeah.
backed up, and he was trying to do something good. A young lady that helps him with his horses. He was giving her a horse.
Oh.
And he wanted to make sure that the horse was good, so he got on him first.
Yeah, okay.
To make sure the horse was good and, able for her to get on. And he said everything was good until, he got up on the horse, put saddle on, got on the horse, everything was good. And all of a sudden the horse just backed up and flipped up and fell on his leg.
Wow.
And broke it in 2 spots, 2 places.
Man, that's rough.
I know he was in a lot of pain, but he in good spirits.
Okay.
He in great spirits, Y'all just pray for him.
Right.
Y'all give him a holler when you go down there on Greenwood, past his house. There. Just give him a shout out.
Sure
good
will.
guy, great guy, good deputy too. Love the community.
That's right.
That's what we have. But we're going to get on with the sheriff report. Between the dates of April the 13th to April 19th, the Macon County Sheriff Department the last 7 days has received 103 volunteer fire transmissions, 1,390 landline calls, 297 E911 calls, 1,412 radio transmissions for a total of 3,202 contacts. So that's a little bit up.
Up a little bit. Yeah.
Little back. Last week, with the contacts, but we only had 9 complaints.
Okay.
So the complaints are down. Calling in is a little up, but the complaints are down. And like to, know and think that crime is going down in the area. Right. We love that, but as you're going to see in a minute, we had a crime, man, that is really unacceptable.
Right.
And I feel real bad. Great family. Let me get through this and then we'll talk.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful.
On 413 County Road 10, we had a criminal mischief second. On 413 County Road 13, we had a deceased person. On 4-4, we had an arrest on the failure to appear. On 414, a walk-in on domestic violence and harassment, which we hate.
Right.
415, we had a walk-in on harassment and communications. On 416, we had an arrest on failure to show insurance, failure to produce your driving license and insurance.
Right.
On 418 Rogers Road, we had a reckless endangerment. On 419, Air Lane, we had sexual assault. On 419 County Road 53, we just had a general report. And we had our United States Marshal Service Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force, Deion Robinson, weekly stats. He had 3 arrests, 1 for murder, 1 for assault first, and 1 for robbery first. And then that was state arrest. Okay. And then he had 4 federal arrests, distribution of controlled substance, felon in possession of firearm, recovered property of AR-15. So always having a busy week with him.
Right.
And you can see he's doing the more serious crime, a lot of the serious crimes that we need done around here.
Right.
Great officer, as is all the other officers in the community. So we have to applaud their efforts on trying to keep our community safe.
Right.
But, back to this deceased person, Mr. Eden Hayden Jr. Y'all know Eden out there on County Road 13. Right. Great family, great young man.
Right.
Mr. Hayden owns a mechanic shop out there, and they sell cars, man. Just always a quiet young man, good family, good mother, good father.
Right.
And somebody shot Eden Friday night. And, man, I mean, that just, that tears the community up, man. Young man, productive citizen, mind his own business at his parents' house, and somebody shot him. And, man, crimes like this, you really feel bad about. We don't need that in our community.
Exactly.
No.
But just think about this young man and his family.
Right.
Just think about this young man and his family. So we're doing everything we can to bring whoever did this to justice. My officers were out there. Shorter was out there. And I did call SBI to assist us in this case. And we're doing all we can to get the people that did this. And we have been working night and day, and we're doing everything we can.
Yeah.
But my condolences to the family.
Right.
Just want them to know that, we're going to do everything we can.
And if any citizen out there know anything about it, please contact us.
Yeah, please contact us if you know anything.
Right.
Any little information helps.
That's right.
What's the Crime Stopper line again?
1-800-STOP. Crime Stop, but we want you to call
Sheriff
Department at 727-2500, and your call will remain anonymous.
Great.
But you can call Crime Stoppers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Crime Stop.
Right. Okay.
But like I said, any little information, we don't care. Anything you hear, anything you're seeing, please call us.
Okay.
Everything helps.
All that helps.
Yeah, all that helps, man.
Yeah.
And, we're going to continue to pray for the family, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you talk to everybody about Eden Jr., and everybody tell you the same thing. Quiet young man.
That's right.
Mind his business. Never no trouble.
Never no
Just
trouble.
a pleasant young man.
That's right.
And, quiet like his dad.
Quiet like his dad.
Quiet like
Yep.
his dad.
Quiet like
his
his
dad's
dad.
real quiet, yeah.
Always willing to help people.
Right.
I have never seen him upset, bad
Me
word
neither.
with nobody.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Mother,
yeah.
good people.
Right.
Brothers, good people. I know his older brother.
Yeah.
Quite well.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
people.
Good people, man.
Know the family.
I always want to help.
Always
I always want to help, man.
So please, y'all, be part of the community and do what you're supposed to do, and let us know what you know. Really appreciate that. I can go on and on talking about that, but I think we need to get on with the show. I'll get upset, I'll get sad about it.
Exactly.
And we're talking about how the community has been growing with, no crimes.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say
Very
no
little,
crime,
very
but
little.
very little crime.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the stats that crimes been going down. And, man, I've been enjoying that, and we've been talking about that. And, it just hurts to see this.
Mm-hmm.
But as a community, we got to do better because we don't want to see any of this.
No,
None
none of this.
None of this, man.
Right.
None of this. And I see these domestic violence on here. We have to deal with those.
Right.
Right.
We have to deal with those.
Got to.
We got to stop. If you can't get along, just get on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That rhymes.
Can't
Yeah,
get along,
yeah,
get
yeah.
on.
Get on. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to be hitting these women.
Right.
But then you got to tell the women too, you don't need to be hitting these men.
There you go. Goes both ways.
Somebody got to be big enough to walk away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody got to walk away. And as a family, as a group, you're going to have arguments. You're going to have disagreements.
Right.
But let's just keep them at a disagreement.
That's right.
Somebody got to be big enough to say, okay, I'm going to walk away.
Right.
Just walk away.
cool off time.
Cool off
Right,
time.
cool
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna come back. You know you love each other.
Right.
You don't come back. Well, I'd say the majority of the time you love each other. You've been
Yeah.
together. You know you married, or girlfriend and boyfriend.
Right.
At some point, you know you had something to be there with them.
That's right.
Right.
So just remember the good times.
That's right. Good time.
Just remember the good times. And cut down on the domestic violence. I hate to see that too.
That's right. It's dangerous,
Hate
like
to
you
see that.
said.
Yeah. Hate to see that. But we gonna go on today, and we're gonna talk about what happened in Philadelphia.
Man.
At the Starbucks. I don't even know if I should ask Pat this. You know,
Pat is back
might-
in the building.
Man.
Pat back in the building, but
That got me heated, man.
That got you heated.
That
Pat,
really
but,
got me heated.
You know, I don't like. I don't try to make anything a racial issue. You know what I'm saying? Because I really don't. I always think the best in people.
Right.
But some people make bad decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, and this
and
was
some
clearly
people-
a bad decision
It was clearly a bad decision.
Right.
on many levels, though,
Yeah,
because
on many levels.
I mean, it's
Well, hold on a minute.
It's really interesting.
Let's
Yeah.
explain.
Okay,
Pat, you
yeah.
Go ahead and explain
Okay.
what happened.
So last week, 2 young men went into a Starbucks in Philly. I think it was South Philly,
Okay.
and which is a black community, right? Well, they were sitting there, and they hadn't ordered anything, and they wanted to use the restroom.
Okay.
Well, the manager says, no, you can't use the restroom unless you purchase something. The men explain that they're waiting on someone. They're doing a business deal, and they're waiting on somebody. Now, they weren't dressed sagging pants or anything like that. Well, the manager decides that they're trespassing, and the manager actually calls the police. All right? So that was the first mistake. That's the first thing. The Starbucks. I mean, you know, so they weren't causing any trouble. They weren't being disruptive or anything like that.
Right.
All right? The police get there. The police assess the situation and decide to arrest these 2 young men for trespassing. It never should have gotten to that point.
Exactly.
Now inside the Starbucks, there were a lot of people in there, black people and white people.
Right.
A lot of people were taking cell phone video of this because it was just so ridiculous. And a lot of the people were saying, hey, I've been here for a long time. I've used the bathroom. Nobody asked me to pay for anything.
Right.
So it was clearly some reason why they singled out these 2 men.
Exactly.
And it's, I'm going to say it. I think it's a racial thing.
Right.
Because all of those other people in there, they singled these 2 men out. So when they explain to the police, we're doing a real estate deal, we're waiting for a client.
Right.
They have them in handcuffs as the client comes.
Exactly.
How do you fix that? How do you make that right?
Right.
What do you do? These black men are humiliated and hauled out of a Starbucks
Starbucks, man.
over nothing, wanting to use the bathroom.
Right. Well, and I guess the fact is, I don't know if this manager felt intimidated, which he shouldn't have, because these young black men that are waiting.
Right.
I mean, what's wrong? People sit in Starbucks all the time.
All the time.
All day.
People go in Starbucks and sit there and read a book.
And use the Wi-Fi?
use the Wi-Fi and other things.
That's right.
And I just think this was wrong on so many levels.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then they did find out, because the third person did come in the Starbucks and tell them, hey, they were waiting on me.
That's right.
Right.
So why would you take these young men to jail? You know,
Right.
once they realized what was going on, I think it shouldn't even gotten that
Shouldn't
far.
got
And yeah, that gets me with this in this situation. The point was made to me that it seems like the officers would get there and assess the situation
Right.
and deem it as being ridiculous.
Right.
Which it was. I mean, really, seriously, it's almost like they went in like robots.
Right.
Okay, just get the suspects.
Right.
And not even really look into it and ask any questions. Because clearly, if the client shows up and they've got paperwork to show that they're doing a
Exactly.
real estate deal,
Right.
it should have just gone away.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
So-
I, at first I thought maybe the 2 young men got upset, and maybe started talking, but you see no evidence of
No
that.
evidence.
Because I would have thought the police had a reason maybe to say, hey, they were just really upset.
Disruptive.
And
Yeah.
disruptive
Right,
and
right,
stuff.
right.
But these guys just got up and listened to what was going on, tried to explain to them.
Kept
but
their cool.
They kept their cool.
Yeah.
And you can see the other people, the patrons in the store, saying, no, these guys weren't doing anything.
Nothing, right.
Right.
So then, as a police officer, I would have had to listen to the people
Exactly.
in the store.
Right.
Right.
And then assess what are they doing.
Right.
What have they done wrong? Even if they were sitting there and the police still would have been wrong by asking them to leave, but at least they could have said, hey, man, y'all, let's get up and go. Let's walk outside and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right.
and try to handle it like that. But to arrest these young men,
Right.
You know, I think that was a bit much.
That's the first thing you do when you come to a scene is like, what happened?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You
You
need
know
to
what I mean?
assess. You can't be one-minded.
Right.
No, you can't.
You just can't have one
Especially-
mind when you go in the store as a police officer.
Right.
You know, you want to find out actually what happened.
What
'cause,
happened?
Yeah.
You know, somebody can tell you anything.
That's right.
Right.
So
right.
you need to know. You know, officers know they're not a machine.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you have to go and assess the problem.
Exactly.
And you have
Yeah.
to be open-minded and listen.
Right.
Right.
In a case like this.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, now don't think we gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if you got a murder, you got a fight, you got something going on, you have to
Right.
still
Right.
assess what's going on.
Right.
Exactly.
But you got to listen.
Got to listen.
You know, you're not robots. You have a mind of your own.
There you go.
You got to listen.
And you got to think there were at least a dozen people with cell phone video of that incident,
Incident. Right.
the whole thing.
The whole
Yeah.
thing.
And so, I mean, the officers getting there, they have evidence that there was nothing done wrong.
Right,
and that's
right.
why, like you said, they should have used their judgment and said,
used
you know,
it.
this is ridiculous.
You know, and me as officer, I would say, hey man, y'all got somebody. Let me see that. Just
Right.
let me see that.
Right.
You know, and I would have looked and made an assessment of
Right,
what was going
right.
on.
Right.
You know, but you know, I hate, like I said, I don't like to talk about the race issue. But the question is, what would you have done?
Yeah.
If
Right.
you was the manager and you came out there, what would you have done?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
If you were the people that were sitting, what would you have done?
Yeah.
You know, they expect you to get up and act crazy anyway.
Right,
You
right.
know, but these men didn't do that.
They didn't do that.
Right.
They didn't do that at all.
Kept,
No,
kept they
no.
cool.
They kept their cool the whole
They kept
time.
their cool the whole time.
You know?
And you don't want to do that. You don't want to explode. You know, you want to be in the right no matter what.
That's right.
And you got some people in this world, I don't care, white, black, purple, green. They don't care. They don't like you. They don't want you to be there. But it
Right.
seems that these young black men have more trouble than anybody.
Right.
And
Right.
that's today in society.
That's right.
Have
Yeah.
more trouble than anybody.
That's-
Some of
I
this
can
stuff
attest to
wouldn't
that.
happen. And like I said, I hate to say stuff like that, but man, it's just
It's the truth, though,
It's the
man.
truth, though. It
It's
is
the
what
truth.
it is,
I
though.
Can't
leave
avoid
that
the
to
truth.
Pat. I won't say
Yeah.
that. I leave
Liz,
that. to Pat.
I will say
And
it.
I
I
hate
will say
to,
it.
I hate to put Pat on here and say because I know how Pat feel about
Pat,
it.
Pat, he got
you
it.
And
know
I
how I
have to
feel.
be
You know how I
because
feel about it.
I'm humane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
You
like
are
to
the
think
diplomat.
best.
You're the
I
diplomat.
like to think the best of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
You know
too.
what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
like to believe the best in people.
Right, right,
But you ask, why would this person do that?
right.
But you know what's interesting? I was discussing this with some of my white friends in Montgomery. And this is really fascinating because a lot of times they would make excuses for stuff like this,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in this case, they were just
Wasn't no
totally
excuses,
just
yeah.
flabbergasted. Like, what in the world? And they even made the statement. They were saying, as bad as things have been in the past in Alabama,
Right.
in 2018, something like that would not probably happen in Montgomery or
Yeah.
Auburn or
And-
somewhere like that.
Or in Alabama, period.
In Alabama, I mean,
You know, when you talk about racial issues,
we've been
like
through
you
it.
down
know,
south.
Alabama down south
yeah.
has been through it.
We have been
especially
through it.
Alabama.
Yeah.
But you know, Alabama has been a lot better than a lot of states.
Yes, it has.
It has.
It
Alabama
sure
has
has.
been a lot better
A lot
than a
better.
lot of states, and we can say we're making progress. I think here,
We are.
you know,
I can safely say that because I have lived in many places around the country,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen when I came back to Alabama, I saw the difference in the race relations in Alabama as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to places like San Jose, California. Terrible,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
You know, Redlands, California. Terrible.
yeah.
You know, so we have it really good here.
Right.
And my friends were pointing that out that you know we've been through so
Yeah,
much
exactly. A whole
that you know you see a lot of more cooperation down here.
exactly.
A lot of more tolerance.
Yeah.
Right,
You
right.
see.
But you know, and I'm not just saying it, but I've always been taught you treat people how you want to be treated, and you treat people how they treat you.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I don't even look at no color thing. I got white friends, black friends.
Yeah.
You know, I guess if people were green, I have some green friends.
Right, right.
You
right.
know, but I treat people how they treat me, and I treat
Right.
people how I want to be treated.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with the color thing.
Right.
You know, I've got some black people that do me wrong.
Yep. There you
got
go.
Some white people do me wrong.
That's right.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
right.
That's on the real.
You're
That's
right.
just human
Some
nature.
of that's human nature.
Yeah.
Right.
You
right.
know, some of these people you can't take. You know, you can't take a penny for what they say.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
Right.
the same with any color. It's just, you know, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But for this to happen in this day and age, and for it to happen so much
Yeah.
around the world now, we're talking about advance and look like we're going backwards in some places.
Some places.
That's true.
Why all the hate?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why all the hate?
Right. Right.
I just don't understand just hating somebody for the color of their skin. You don't give a person a chance to show you what you are and how you are and what type of person you are.
That's right.
You got to give a person a chance.
You do.
man.
Right.
You really do.
Right.
Color just couldn't do it.
Yeah, man.
Right.
It's just hate is all around the world, man.
Well, you know, we're
Everybody
still in
doing it.
recovery in this country
Yeah,
too.
man.
This country has had a bad history,
Right.
Yeah.
and we really still are in recovery.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and so what you said is true. We got to treat people like we want to be
You gotta
treated.
treat people
Exactly.
the way
You
you want
know.
to be
You
treated.
really do.
You know, I saw something interesting today, and you know, I always go through Facebook and I look at what's said. But one person said something on Facebook to effect that helped them to not be afraid of black people.
Help
That's
them.
serious.
Yeah, that's a
They asked for help,
Help.
to not be afraid of black people.
wow.
Well,
that's deep.
but you know,
That's
you
deep.
got to understand something. If you put yourself in somebody else's shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and you consider putting yourself in white America's shoes,
Mm-hmm.
knowing the history, knowing of all the lynchings and all the segregation and the whites only this and that, they know what has happened.
That's right.
And they have every reason to think that we will be really, really mad and really hostile towards them.
Right.
But you know, most black people have love in their hearts,
Yeah.
basically, fundamentally.
Right.
And they would not be out for revenge or something like that. But I could understand how they would think that we would feel like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As many
Yeah.
lynches as have gone down, and now they're getting ready to open up the lynching memorial
Yeah.
Wow.
down in Montgomery.
Lyncher Memorial.
The lynching memorial, it's
Wow.
gonna be really heavy. I've seen some of the pictures of it.
right.
But you know, that's another example of us coming to grips with the past.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's another example of Alabama being a lot more advanced in how we deal with each other with regard to race.
Right.
You know, I went to Auburn University.
Okay.
So I was typically the only black student in almost all of my classes, right? And that was in the 80s.
Right.
I'm dating myself, right? But that was during the 80s. And when I first started Auburn, there were 400 black students at Auburn University.
400.
400 in the whole school. And when I graduated, there were 800 of us.
Wow.
And during that time period of me being there, I interacted with a lot of white people who were really curious and didn't know anything about black people.
Exactly, yeah.
Had no idea.
Right.
Didn't know. I mean, really, they had some really strange ideas about black folks, right?
Right.
But I felt like that was during that time period, I really was able to see a lot of what their position is. And they were able to see a lot of what my position
Right,
was.
right.
So, I mean, us being in proximity to each other is a good thing. And it was really evidence of the progress that has been made. Now, all these years later, it's 2018, and you go to Auburn now, thousands of black students.
You're
You
right.
know, and the whole relationship with the white community is different now.
It is.
It's a totally different thing.
But you know, one thing that we tend to do, you know, you, me, everybody, I don't care what race, you tend to fear the unknown.
Right. Exactly.
True.
So you as a black man and a white person or another race, if they don't really know you and don't really understand you, a lot of times they fear you.
That's right.
But when you give them a chance to know and understand
Right.
what you're about,
Exactly.
it cuts out that
Cuts it
fear
out.
factor.
It does. It does.
You know, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
a lot to
Yeah.
do with it.
You know, people go by what they believe and what they've heard.
Right,
Somebody
right.
told
You
them.
know, somebody told them, and
Right.
when somebody say, "Hey, they unintelligent," you know, they mean,
Right.
All they want to do is gang bang
Right.
and all this stuff. If that's what
Right.
they believe and that's what they're told, that's what they
Right.
can believe about you. Period.
Exactly.
You know, but that's not true about our race. We're smart people.
That's right.
We're intelligent people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we're inventors. You know, we're preachers.
Right.
We're all teachers.
Everything.
We're educators. We're everything.
Everything.
Innovators, entrepreneurs, all of that.
all of
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we are a race on the rise.
That's right.
There you go.
Race on the
So,
rise.
so,
Like
and
that.
that's just like the other races.
Right.
You know, we all need to be striving to be the best,
That's right.
True.
and don't think bad about the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we are trying to change the culture of what people think, and we have been doing a very good job of that.
Yeah.
Now you look, you got billionaires,
Right.
you got millionaires,
More than
you
it
got
ever
billionaires.
been.
Say Oprah got like $2.8 billion.
more than we've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's sure we are striving to succeed.
That's right.
right.
And we're doing that, and we're getting smarter, and we're getting better at everything we do.
Right.
So the guys that have succeeded, reach down and pick somebody up.
There you go. There you go.
You know,
Yeah.
reach down and pick somebody up so we
Right.
can all be successful.
Everybody.
So we
Yeah.
can all live a comfortable life.
Exactly.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I mean, that's what this is all about. It's all about living and trying to take care of each other, loving each other, just living your life.
That's right.
You know, we don't want to live our life in fear. We don't want to live our life in
Yeah.
fear of our children getting
Right.
hurt and killed
Right.
because somebody don't understand us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
About somebody telling somebody wrong thing about us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have a prejudice bone in my body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't see the color thing. I really don't.
Right.
But I treat people how they treat me.
That's right.
You know, we got some very, very good people around here.
Very good people.
Very
True.
good people. White, black,
White, black,
Everybody.
everything.
purple,
Yeah.
green. We got some very
Right.
good people around here.
Yeah, we do.
And that's what I look for. Great people in the community that's going to help this community.
Right.
I don't care what color you are.
That's right.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But we all have to understand each other. Don't make judgment without understanding
There
each
you
other.
go.
And
That's
if this
it.
world
That's
gonna
it.
be
That's
better,
it right there.
That's
if
it
we
right
gonna
there.
be better, we have to do that.
That's right. Got to understand each other.
We gotta
Communication is
understand each
everything.
other. Yeah, everybody make mistakes.
Yeah,
man.
that's right.
Everybody
Right.
make mistakes. You know, and
Right.
I mean, it's just like that.
Right.
But you know, when you think about Starbucks' reaction to that incident, though,
Yeah.
is they are closing all 8,000 Starbucks
Yeah.
locations
Yeah.
for one day so that they can have training,
Training.
sensitivity training.
Wow.
Every single one of them is going through that, and that's a good thing.
That's a good
That's a
thing.
good step by the owner.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great step by the owner. You know, of course, he fired that manager.
Of course, he did.
He was smart to do that.
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
man, that was going to hurt his business.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, a lot of people were concerned that they were going to move him to another store.
Yeah. But right.
But they
right.
but they did
they
fire
fired
him,
him.
right?
They
They
fired
did. They fired
They
him.
fired him. And I think that was a good thing. That was a
Yeah.
great move.
Right.
Yeah, and I
You know,
heard the
for
I
his
heard the
business.
interview of the CEO. I heard the interview, and he was very contrite. He really was, and yeah, this blindsided him. I'm sure he was blindsided by this.
Right.
So I think he's doing the right thing.
Well, you know, you said it earlier, though, Pat. You know, you had all races mad about this.
Yeah,
You know,
everybody,
and that,
everybody.
to me, that means people are coming together.
There you go. That's
You know
my
what I'm saying?
point.
That
That's
means
my
people
point.
are coming together. We don't see color in that. We see wrongdoing.
That's right.
In the whole thing, we see wrongdoing.
All the way.
There
That's
wasn't
right.
nothing right about that.
That's right.
Nothing.
And not only are we trying to stand up, but they trying to stand up with us.
That's right.
And that's a great thing.
Great thing.
That's
a
a
great,
good thing.
great thing.
You know.
You know, it's not about black and white. It's not about purple and green. It's
About right and wrong.
Right and wrong.
Well, I mean, more importantly to me, it's about justice.
Yeah.
You got to have a just society. You cannot single out a group of people because of the way that they look. You just cannot do that.
Yeah.
Not in 2018.
Right.
It's not acceptable. Not acceptable.
And you know, we're talking now. We're on Facebook Live. And if you have any comments about it, Facebook
Yeah.
Live, please comment on it and let us know your thoughts so we can say it and discuss it.
That's right.
You know, and we want some good comments. You know, like I said, it's not a racial thing. We ain't trying to get into that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we just talking about the right and wrong about it.
Right.
You know, I had something similar happen to me. It's been a long time ago, but it happened to me in Auburn.
Wow.
And you know,
I'd had an incident
young
like
black
that too.
man,
Yep.
You know, I had been across the street to Gold's Gym, lifting weights. Walked over to the mall to get something for Courtney. My little girl was a year old. I walked over to find her little doll, and I looked around, didn't find what I wanted. But next thing I know, the police approached me and told me I need to leave the mall. And I said, why? And they said that I was walking around the mall and wasn't buying anything. And I said, well, I just left the toy store. I said, they didn't have what I wanted, but I'm still looking for what I want. They told me, no, you're going to leave this mall. And I told them, I'm not finna leave. I'm just walking around not doing anything.
Right.
So they told me to step around back so they can deal with me.
No.
Yes, they did.
Whoa.
Wow.
Told me to step around back. And, you know, I didn't make a big issue out of it. But, of course, I told them, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's deal with this. Let's deal with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm young,
Yeah.
black man, full of it. You know, I'm spreading myself. Let's go. I ain't done nothing wrong, so let's deal with this.
That's right.
They took me behind the mall.
Yeah.
My brother Chuck said, well, I'm going too. Let's see what's happening.
Yeah.
A couple of my teammates were with me because we were all lifting weights. They was like, let's go. If Drake go, we going. Let's see what y'all doing.
Yeah.
So we went behind the mall in the back of the mall.
Squad
They
deep.
hurried up and called the other police for help. and that's a true story.
Right.
Squad deep.
And I called Auburn to tell them, hey, man, that's not the way you treat people.
That's right.
You know, that could have been a bad
True.
situation.
That's
That's
right.
true.
And I'm a young man.
Right.
And they made me mad about that.
Right.
But at least I came to my senses. I don't need to go back here and fight no police about this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me call and tell on them.
That's right. Yeah.
And
yeah,
I
that's what you
did.
That's
And
what
I
you
did.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? At
Right.
first, you know, like I said, I went back there.
Right.
I'm like, man, I ain't done nothing. Y'all even to whoop me.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I mean that. Y'all
I know
ain't
that's
whoop me.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they wanted, though. I mean,
Right.
but why? I hadn't done a thing.
Nothing.
And so I see how these guys felt.
Right.
And when I heard this, I say, dog, that happened to me.
Right.
Same thing. I ain't done nothing. Just walk around with my brother and a couple of friends looking for something for my baby.
Oh man.
And they told me I got to get out.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'm like, for what? You asked them people. I went in the toy store, asked them, did they have what I wanted?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you intimidating people walking around here. Why?
Yeah.
I just couldn't
Wow.
understand it.
Yeah.
I couldn't
wild,
understand
man.
it.
Like you said,
And that happened.
That was in the
understanding,
80s, right?
That was in the 90s.
In the
That
90s?
was in the
Okay.
early 90s.
Wow.
man. 90s.
Matter of fact, I can tell you what year it was in 1993 and a half, 94.
Right.
Wow.
You know, and that really happened.
Yeah.
I hadn't really.
Yeah,
came
I've
across
had
any
my run-ins.
real racist. I
That
haven't.
was a bad run in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've had my run-ins in my
Bad run-ins.
college career, man. Auburn police are terrible.
Wow.
Terrible. In fact, one time I was playing in a band when I was in Auburn, a reggae band,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody knew who we were. And my friend, who's living in Washington now, had gotten in some kind of trouble. Do you know they knew who I was? They came to my job
Mm-hmm.
and arrested me and kept me in jail until they found him.
Wow.
They had no charge.
Wow.
That's
I kn-
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they would do stuff like that. They kidnapped me
Wow.
and held me until they found Robbie.
Wow.
But that's the kind of stuff that they would do.
Yeah.
And then the way that they police over there was a little different. They have these quota systems.
Mm-hmm.
Each officer has to have so many contacts per day or something like that,
Oh, okay.
which I think is like,
Tickets and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, you need to have so
okay.
many contacts, and
Right.
that's just
Yeah, I don't think
I don't-
having quotas for police officers good because
No.
then they start looking for trouble.
Looking for trouble.
things.
Last minute.
Yeah, and you can't do that. But I
you
must
can't.
say
Yeah.
now, talking about my story, you know, being the sheriff now, we have a great relationship with Auburn police
Mm-hmm.
officers, Lee County police officers, and I think everybody have grown from that. You know,
Exactly.
we can talk all the time, talk to the
Right.
chief all the time, talk to the sheriff all the time.
Right.
So hopefully things like this wouldn't happen. You know, and we talking about 93, 94 to us,
Right.
that was a long time ago.
Right.
You know, and maybe some things have changed.
Right.
But I hadn't had that problem lately, you know, and hopefully none of us will have that problem.
Exactly.
But people have to grow.
Got to grow.
You know, we got to grow as a community. We got to grow as a race. You know, we just got to grow.
Gotta
If we
grow.
want to continue to do what we're doing here, we have to grow. So I'm not saying anything bad about Lee County or Auburn, anybody, because we have a good working relationship.
That's right.
But this is a fact of what happened to me when I was a young man
Yep.
back
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Right.
And it hadn't happened since then. But, you know, hope people change.
People change.
And that's what we're looking for, change.
change, man.
That's what
well.
we
But you got to remember something though. We got a little gray on us now, and see, you know, they tend to not harass people with a little gray on them as much. They really don't. I mean, I found that to be true.
Right.
You know, but I'm worried about my 21-year-old son
Yeah, yeah.
in Las Vegas, where he's already had a couple of run-ins, and I've seen some stuff out of Vegas. They are brutal, zero tolerance. They're the kind that don't want to talk to you. They don't want to, be polite. They just want to go in there. They're the kind that would arrest the people in Starbucks.
Right. Right.
That mindset.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, we keep saying you have to give people a chance.
Gotta give 'em a
Yep.
chance,
You
man.
got
have
to.
give people
Lack
a
of
chance.
understanding,
And
man.
then
That's what it boils down to.
you think about everybody.
Right.
You know, someday you might have a bad day,
That's right.
Yeah.
and you might not be yourself that day.
Right.
But it shouldn't cost you your life.
No.
You know, for having a bad day.
Right,
It
right.
just shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
You know, and we talk about all the time about officers doing this and officers doing that. As an officer, we have to think.
Right.
You know, as an officer, we sign up and we are willing to sacrifice our life.
Right.
So don't jump the gun.
Right.
Don't jump the gun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I think it's time for a drop.
Yeah. Yeah. It is
Think
about that
drop.
time.
for a drop.
It's time for a drop. Let me just finish. There we go. Let's go.
Hey Tuskegee, make sure you watch the Macon County Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Andre Brunson every day at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Tuskegee Virtual TV, Channel 181 in town, and Channel 19 on the TU campus, hosted by DJ Booty Rush. Be sure to check out our live stream every Thursday evening on YouTube at Tuskegee Virtual. We're keeping Tuskegee in the know.
And you know this. And you know this.
We are
Yeah.
back. We are back.
We are
We are
back.
back.
You know,
Man.
and we talking about what happened at Starbucks, man. You know, to me, just unfortunate.
Right.
You know, and to me, it sets us back, you know, when we see stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we make people angry, and we start up another thing about race and prejudice and things like that.
It sure got me fired up. I tell you, it got me heated.
But we got to overcome this, and
Right.
you know, we got to. I say look over that, but we're not going to look over it.
Can't look over.
We want to try to make things right.
Right.
But it's one thing about it, we standing together.
Right.
White and black, seeing in jest, and they standing together.
Right.
And that is a great thing. That tells me that we do have progress.
Progress,
right.
Everybody don't feel the same way.
That's right.
We are
Exactly.
having progress.
Right.
And it's not about color. It's not about race. It's about right and wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
About right and wrong. But we'll see what happens with the whole story, the whole issue.
Yeah.
The owner of Starbucks, like we said, he's having a class. That's a start.
That's a good start.
Big
yeah.
start.
Very, very good start.
Man, it's-
You fired the person that did this.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
even better start.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's time for people to heal, and start thinking about it and just move home. You know what I'm saying? I don't go to Starbucks. I drink my coffee at home at the job.
Yeah, you ain't joking.
You know what
Hey,
I'm saying?
Yeah.
I drink coffee at home and I drink coffee on the job. But if I wanted to stop and get some Starbucks, I don't want nobody discriminating against me.
That's
All
right.
right.
I don't want to sit there and feel, hey, I can't sit here because they're going to come bother me. And I think a lot of people are feeling that
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
because Starbucks get a lot of customers.
But
A
especially when you have people that have white people that have been in the same situation, sitting there, and they want to use the bathroom or whatever. They haven't been asked to leave. They're not being accused of trespassing,
Right.
Right.
and they're seeing that,
Right.
and they're
Right.
pointing that out. And so those videos have gone viral.
Yes.
And hopefully that it'll help somebody else not be that stupid.
That's right. That's right.
Because that was just stupid.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Man, the job and everything, man.
But you really have to commend the guys, the victims.
Right.
For staying cool.
They stayed cool.
They stayed cool.
They
Yeah.
stayed cool. You really have to commend them for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep
You
your
know, I
cool.
don't know if I could have kept my cool in that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, I don't know if I could have kept my
No,
cool.
I know I wouldn't have. That's why I've been in so much trouble. Because I'm going to talk my mess.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have a calm head.
Yeah.
got to, man.
You got to have a calm
yeah,
head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going to get us over
True.
by having a calm head, by doing it the peaceful way.
That's right.
You don't forget what Martin Luther King said. You know what I'm saying? We talking about being peaceful,
That's right.
peaceful protest.
Peaceful
And I
protest.
think
Yeah.
a peaceful protest is a lot better than violence.
That's right.
Yeah, and I would say this too for all the people that have been protesting over the last few years. One of the things that I've noticed is the group called Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have actually really embraced the nonviolence movement. In fact, they police themselves.
Right.
They don't allow any of their members to get violent or hostile.
Right. Right.
And in that last incident with Stephon Clark,
Clark. Right.
they had a demonstration and it was no violence. None of their people caused any trouble.
Yeah.
And there was nothing that anybody could do. They couldn't arrest anybody because
Right.
nobody did anything wrong.
Right.
Right.
And so I think that the movement is evolving. And
Right.
one thing that we've got to drive home the point is what you just said, is that these two young men kept their cool. And see, I know that we as older gentlemen, we know how to keep our cool.
Right,
We know
right.
when to get hostile and when not to.
That's right.
And I know that hostility is very rare for me these days. But the young people, they get a lot more fired up about this.
They do.
And so we've, as the older gentlemen, we've got to encourage them to keep their cool.
Right. Right.
That when they have these incidents, which I don't expect that this is going to be the last time.
No.
This is not the last time this is going to happen. Somebody else is going to go through an experience like this, and we want them to keep their cool just like these two young men.
Right.
Because the only way you could be right is if you don't do anything wrong in the situation.
Exactly.
Right. And one thing about we're talking to our community, trying to reach our community through this radio station. That's why we do the shared report. That's why we talk about so many incidents. So we hope our young people are listening. We hope the parents are listening.
Right.
To tell the kids,
That's right.
you go out to different places, Montgomery, Auburn, different places, you got to keep your cool. You're
Right.
not at home.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Keep you cool because you never know how other people going to feel.
Right.
Especially outside of this town.
Exactly.
You never know what's going to happen. Keep you cool. Listen.
That's right.
It's a place to fight your battles.
Right.
And these young men there in Philadelphia, they chose not to fight their battle there. They going to take it to where they're taking it. You know what I'm saying? They getting a lot of pub about this.
Right.
They're getting to let their voice be heard in a positive way
That's right.
instead of in a negative way.
Exactly.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about it is that since they did not fight or become hostile or anything
Right.
like that. They're actually letting their story do the fighting
They
for
letting
them.
their story do the fight.
You know,
You're right.
They
Exactly.
letting their story do the fight, and that's what we trying to tell our young
Right.
people.
Yeah.
right,
You live to talk about it. You live to tell this story.
Right.
You live to fight another day.
right.
Because
Do not
you
give
know
them an
where
excuse.
you are, what might happen to you in these different places.
Right,
Right.
So,
Right.
come home, let your parents know, let your loved ones know,
Right.
and fight the battle like that.
Right.
Don't get aggressive. If you're not aggressive, they have no reason to hurt you or
Right.
do anything to
That's
you.
right.
And listen to us, young people.
and I know that that's a
and
hard
that's
thing to do.
even here
Yeah.
in town. When
That's right.
when an officer or somebody approach you in the wrong way, try to keep you cool.
Keep it cool.
Right.
It's hard.
It's so
sometimes.
hard. I
Yeah,
know.
it's
Try
I
to
know
keep
it's
you
hard.
cool,
Yep.
and let's deal with it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's deal with it the right way. And I'll be the first to tell you, everybody don't try to treat you right.
That's right.
Everybody not gonna talk to you right.
There you go.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if my officer do something wrong to you, you need to let us know,
Right.
and we'll deal with it. We're gonna talk to him.
Right.
We're gonna see what happened.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I like to be on my officer side, and they know they can trust the sheriff. They know I got their back.
Right.
But if you're wrong, you're wrong. You're not gonna mistreat the community and these kids and people in the community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna look at all aspects of it. But the same thing with your parents and everybody, look at the whole aspect of it. You can't just say this officer treated me wrong and don't listen to the facts, because sometimes these kids get out of hand. You don't know what
There
they're
you go.
gonna
Yeah,
say
that's
if
right.
they're not with you.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
So
That's
it's
right.
best to try to deal with it together instead of taking a side. Because when you take a side and not saying your kid is wrong, but if he is wrong and they see you, hey, mom gonna take up for me no matter what. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
Mhm,
then
that's
I
right.
think that's worse. That's not gonna.
That's
help.
worse.
That's worse. It's not
That's
gonna help
worse.
the growth for that child.
Yep.
It's not gonna help the growth of that
That's
child.
right.
And I've been both ways.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to be honest. And I know my mom gonna cut up for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But
Right.
she also gonna knock me in the head if she find out I'm wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
she gonna knock me in the head.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's better just go and tell the truth and
Tell
tell
the
it the
truth,
right
man.
way.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And just listen. And it's all about listening.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
listen.
true. That's
Go
true.
down to.
Yeah.
But I know we getting down on time.
Yeah.
I want to say, and I want to ask people again about donating money for Miss Sullins and the YMCA, the Christian Value Camp.
Yeah.
We
Right.
still got to do that to get the money for these young men, whoever, to go to this camp, y'all.
Right.
So we're gonna be doing some things, as soon as we can to start
Do
getting
some
money,
fundraising,
collecting
yeah.
money, fundraising,
Yeah,
stuff like
right.
that. And this week we do have this rodeo coming up down on 80. It's gonna be very busy down there. I think they expected about 10,000 people down there.
People.
It's a lot of people. And that rodeo is
where
gonna
on
be
80?
up on 80 towards Society Hill. It's gonna be on Blair Sistrunk Place towards Society
okay.
Hill.
Like going toward
We're
Columbus way?
expecting- Going toward Columbus.
Okay.
If you can, please avoid that way, because the traffic gonna be heavy up there.
Right, right.
Traffic gonna be real heavy. And they having a concert and all that stuff. And if you like concerts and country music, rodeo come out. If you don't, try to stay away from that area, because
Right.
it's gonna be congested.
Wow.
Right.
And always give a shout out to everybody in Macon County. Y'all do a great job. I'm disappointed about what happened this week, but hey, y'all, please, y'all come forward if y'all know something, and please look out for your neighbors, man. Y'all look out for each other.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous world out here.
Right.
It's a dangerous world, but that's what we're here for, to make it better.
Right.
And I'm
We're
gonna
here to make it
remind
better.
everybody every week to watch out for the elderly in your communities,
Always.
and watch out for the children.
That's right.
Butch and I almost had an incident in the neighborhood over there just a little while ago. Watch your children playing in these parking lots.
That's right.
Had a kid run right out in front of my car.
Wow.
Wow.
And when I was 6 years old, I got run over by a car.
Wow.
And
got
so I
run over?
know, who you've
don't
heard of the
look
man.
like you got run over.
Like he
You
ran
know
over the car,
CG
don't
Chameleon. Hey, you know
ran over the car.
Hey, you know CG Chameleon, right? You know CG Chameleon. Chameleon versus Lightfoot.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
He lived on Bibb Street. He ran over me when I was 6 years old. They had to back the car out and get me out from under there.
Wow.
So I'm real sensitive about kids playing in
I feel
traffic
you,
like
man.
that.
We got to look out for our young kids.
Yeah, watch
But Pat, I
children.
must say, you look like you ran over the car.
Hey,
When y'all say that,
Yeah.
yeah.
they wouldn't run over me now. Just destroy the car. I want to give a shout out to the crew. We got Kim Motor City. We got Butch. We got Daphne in the building. We got Brinsky. We got Miss Sheriff and Jordan. Yes.
You summed it up.
Hey, we summed it up.
We summed
Yep.
it up.
And they can watch us every day on Channel 181 at 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m.
Right.
And don't forget, we do this live stream every Thursday at 8 o'clock.
Right.
So you got to be here at 8 o'clock. And you can listen to it live on the radio, or you could watch us on Facebook. Just go to Tuskegee Virtual. So
Yeah.
those are my
Fantastic.
shout outs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you
Big
get-
shout out to everybody. Work here at the station. The communicator, Sylvester McPherson.
Yep.
Andre Fields, man, the co-pilot. We call ourselves the Triple C's. You know?
Triple C.
Okay.
That's the communicator, the co-pilot, and the connector.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's
You know what I'm
good.
saying?
That's good.
That's cool,
Yeah,
ain't it?
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
man.
But
Okay.
you know, you reach a lot of people, man.
Right,
A lot of people reached by this radio station, man.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
right,
And you know, everything we try to get out to the community, this is just a tool to do it.
right.
And we hope that everybody listen to what we're trying to tell them.
Right.
You know, we're not just on here talking.
Mm-hmm.
Try to give some lessons to what's going on, and maybe they'll help some people in life.
Somebody.
You know what I'm saying? Help somebody.
Somebody.
And if we save one person, we've done a great thing.
That's
We've done a
right.
good thing.
That's
man.
right.
That's
But
right.
you know, as the sheriff, I want you to know what's going on in the community, good, bad, ugly, whatever, because that might help somebody.
Right.
You know, you listen to where these crimes are happening.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to say, hey, man, my area's a little tough. You know, I
Yeah.
got to look out a little more for my kids, got to look out a little more for my neighbors,
Right.
you know, and that type thing.
Right.
But hopefully we are helping people and helping the community, and that's what this is all about.
All about.
Yeah. Shout out to all the officers. Shout out to my sheriff department. Shout out to great people that work down there and all law enforcement. But then
around the
I don't
city.
want to miss nobody, so I cover everything. Shout out to everybody.
Everybody.
in Macon County.
Big shout out to
There you
everybody.
Shout
in
out to
Macon County.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's
All
been our
right.
time right here. Big shout out to my family, wife and kids.
Yeah.
Big shout out to them. And that's been our time. Pat already said it.
Yo.
So we're gonna do this drop right here. Make sure you guys share this or like it. It don't cost you no money to do
Yeah,
it. You know what I'm
nothing.
saying? It don't cost you no
Free.
money. It's all free.
Yeah.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Get your popcorn ready. Every Thursday, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Every Thursday, 8
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yes.
The sheriff report, y'all. Do the
Yo.
drop real quick.
Hey Tuskegee, make sure you watch the Macon County Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Andre Brunson every day at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Tuskegee Virtual TV, Channel 181 in town, and Channel 19 on the TU campus, hosted by DJ Booty Rush. Be sure to check out our live stream every Thursday evening on YouTube at Tuskegee Virtual. We're keeping Tuskegee in the know.
And you know this. And you know this. And you know
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Peace.
Peace.